Hey, everybody. This is the Unstruggle Mindset Podcast. I am Ryan Glenn, your host. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you wouldn't mind, share this episode with your friends and family. And the only way that this podcast grows and the only way that we prosper is by you sharing this podcast. We greatly appreciate it. For all you people tuning in on YouTube, thank you so much. For all these people tuning in on the audio version of the podcast, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate everybody being here. Today, we are talking about something that is going on. It's a big thing right now, and we are talking about social media. Is it your friend or is it a foe? Okay, so what do I mean by friend or foe? So a lot of people will tell you that social media is the absolute devil. And then there are a lot of people that will tell you that social media is a useful tool. There's a lot of things you can do good with social media, and really it boils down to how you use it. So let's get into the episode. Let's see what I'm talking about. Now, if you are watching or listening to this audio program, or if you're watching this podcast on YouTube, you probably found it somewhere on social media. So for myself, I frequently use Facebook and Instagram, but I also use LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. But I'd like to know, what are your takes on social media? Is it a tool like it was meant to be? Or is it something that people use to unleash their inner demons on the world? In July of 2020, the Pew Research Center did a survey in the United States in which they asked the question, does social media negatively affect the way things are going in the country? 64% of adults said it was mostly negative. 64%. Mostly negative. 25% said neither negative or positive, and 10% said mostly positive. So 10% of people asked said it was positive. You can read more about that research at pewresearch.org. So how can one person say it's a negative thing and then another person believe it to be positive? Well, Gary Vee says social media is a mirror. Basically, Gary goes on to say that social media is what people look for. For the most part, I agree, but it goes a little deeper than that. So say you're scrolling your news feed on Facebook. A lot of people do it every single day. You sit there, you're scrolling, and you come across a video, you see these every day. The cute little kitties, and they're playing or whatever. They're flipping around, having a good old time. You watch it for about 30 seconds. You look at all the cute little kitties. You might give it a like or a heart or whatever, and then you're just going to keep on scrolling. Well, a couple posts down, we're seeing this also a lot nowadays. A couple posts down, you see the video of the police officer going into an apartment, and they're kicking in the door, and then, of course, there's the man on the other side, and they're hollering back and forth. The police officer pulls his gun, and you can't pull your eyes off the screen. And then, of course, just like every video in this situation that's posted on social media, the police officer shoots and kills the guy. So which video do you watch longer? Do you watch the cute little kitties, or do you watch the live murder shown on social media? And I don't want to say this to offend anybody. I don't want to say this to hurt anybody's feelings or make anybody feel bad, but it's true. Most people will watch the video of the police officer shooting somebody over the cute little kitty video just because that's the way our minds work. That's the way we as a human race work. And it's sad to say, but our brain is wired naturally to watch for fear and danger. So with the aggressive possible murder caught on tape, most people find their way to the comment section in which to share their take on what happened. And that's where you get into the deep pits of the flame. You got Joe over here commending the officer for performing their duties. Meanwhile, Scott is over here telling Joe he's a Trump humper or whatever the hell they say nowadays. And, Scott's telling Joe he's an idiot, shares his input on the cop should be arrested and tried for murder and so on. All in this time, Joe is building an army of people that are supporting Joe's side, while Scott's building his army of people that are supporting Scott's side. And of course, in all this time, there's the troll that offers you the amazing, bootleg copy of the latest action flick that's in your movie theater. But it happens every single day. So let me ask you, how do you use social media? How do you use social media? Do you use Facebook to keep up with your distant family? I do that. I have family in Kansas and Florida and all over the United States. And I use it to keep up with their kids. And, I send messages here and there to ask how they're doing and keep up. I have older family to keep up with their health and things like that. I want to know how they're doing. Do you use it to network with business colleagues? I do that as well. I have people all over the world, since I started life coaching that I network with. I ask them for advice. They ask me for advice. We share ideas and things like that. Do you use it to keep up with current events? I do that as well. I stopped watching the news. I don't want to watch the news. It's nothing but negative. So if something is happening, a lot of times I'll go to Facebook to find out what happens. I'll keep up with current events that way. I stop at the opinions, but I'll find out what's happening and then I'll do my own research. On your social media page, on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, who do you follow? Do you follow politicians to figure out, what's the latest rumble they're in? Do you follow musicians to figure out their new tour dates and, their new album drops and their newest singles and things like that? All the people that you follow. Do you follow your favorite actors and actresses? Things like that. It's great to follow your role models and people that you find dear to your heart. For me, I follow all my favorite musicians and people that I find, role models for me. Of course, a lot of people know for me, one of my favorite all-time artists is Scott Stapp. I follow a lot of his journey. I have his book. I follow him on social media. I read a lot of his posts and things like that. But you see, it all comes down to your personal usage. So somewhere in the deep, dark depths of the internet, there are people who want to use social media for wrong. I mean, it's there for everyone. Personally, I use social media in order to build relationships and share my original content, as well as other content I think people should see. But what about groups? Do you participate in groups on social media? A lot of people participate in groups on Facebook. There's sale groups. You can sell that old fridge that you got sitting in the garage and this and that. And there's literally a marketplace on Facebook where you can buy whatever you want or sell whatever you want. And, there's groups where you can go and find literally groups for just about anything to find like-minded people like yourself, to where, there's comic book groups, there's movie groups, there's all kinds of stuff out there for, just to find like-minded people to be around and, converse with, and just to, once again, to network with. You can get questions answered that you have by people that, have gone through what you're currently going through. You could be that person to someone else. And it's like I said, it just comes down to, how do you use social media? And we can sit here and argue until we're blue in the face, is social media good or social media bad? But it comes down to how you use it. I use social media every single day, but when it comes to the negative stuff and it comes to the the political, liberal, conservative, back and forth stuff, the COVID vaccine, do I get it? Do I not? You're stupid if you don't. You're stupid if you do. I don't deal with all that stuff. I don't deal with it. I block it out. I get on there. I post my content. I post my YouTube videos. Hi, YouTube. I post my podcast. I share my content. I look at the content that I feel I need to see. I follow very few people. I look at very few posts. I look at the inspirational stuff that I like. I like my Gary V post, my Rob Dial, Tom Bilyeu, Brandon Burchard, Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi. All my timeline is filled with all positive stuff. So if you're seeing nothing but negative on your timeline, that's something that you need to look at yourself. Why am I surrounded with all this negativity? That is a personal issue, because obviously that negativity is coming from your direct circle of friends here, guys. That's coming from your people, your family, your friends. Now you need to start asking yourself, okay, if I'm surrounded with this much negativity. What am I going to do about it? I need to start eliminating these people if I want to be more positive, because obviously I can't be more positive if I'm surrounded by this much negativity. So you see, if you look for more positive in the world, you're going to be overwhelmed with positivity. But if you're looking for the ugly underbelly, you're going to find it. You know, I was in church the other day, and the pastor that was giving the message, you know, he quoted he quoted Hugh Jackman in Wolverine. And, you know, Hugh Jackman in the Wolverine movie, he said, the man who goes looking for blood, he's going to find it. It's the same way with negativity. If you go looking for it, you're going to find it. And hell, now in today's world, you don't even have to be looking for it. If you're not looking for positive message, if you're not looking for a positive message, you're going to find negativity. So if you're just out there gambling about in a neutral zone, it's going to be negative. So you have to arm yourself. Like I said, you're going to have to eliminate some of them negative influences. You're going to have to start following more positive stuff. And even, you know, it hurts me to say it, but even some of these artists and some of these musicians, you know, they're getting really negative, and they're getting really political and hurtful nowadays. And I know for me, you know, I'm a big rock and roll fan. And I know for all the rockers out there, a lot of people have followed the thing with the band Trapped from the 2000s. You know, a lot of people were talking about the band Trapped and their political stance and how they, you know, their hate talk towards people in their comment section. You know, I'm not here to say whether they're right or wrong. You know, I don't care. You know, they have the right to speak out against whatever they feel they need be, but I just don't want to be part of it, so I unfollowed the band. You know, for me, you know, their music isn't that relevant, so it wasn't that big of a deal for me to unfollow the band. But that's really all I have for you. So, like I said, if you're seeing all negativity on your social media, I would take a look into that to see why. Start following a more positive influence. Eliminate all those people that are creating the negative influence on your social media. If you're looking for negativity, you're going to find it. If you're in that neutral zone, you're going to find negativity. Start looking for the positivity. Social media is not your enemy. Your enemy is those people out there who want to use social media for the wrong. Use the social media for the right thing and the positive thing, and you will not have an issue. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Share this episode on your social media. Share that positive message so we can show people, hey, social media is not the enemy here. All the people out there being assholes, they're the enemy. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Together, we will unstruggle. I love you. Have a good day.